up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down.
You are listening to Wizayne's podcast on the Three Bozos Network. Yo, let's go.
Welcome to another episode of Wizayne's podcast. I'm your host, Wizayne the Pizain. As always, don't forget to follow, subscribe, download our podcast wherever you listen to our podcast. Don't forget to watch us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button like I'm about to hit this toddler on my lap right now for misbehaving. And social media, X, TikTok, and Instagram. I am joined by a special guest. That's right, my toddler, 2-year-old.
No.
G-Money.
Daddy.
Say hi. Say hi.
Hi.
There you go. Yeah. I know. I couldn't do this on my own, so I needed a co-host. And on short notice, well, I just snatched the first toddler I could find.
No.
And that was this one. How was school today?
Fun.
Fun? Here, you want to talk to people?
No.
No? Okay, bye.
No.
All right. Anyways, it's been a while since the last time we did one of these. And, well, he's part of the reason why. I think last time we talked, the other hurricane hadn't come through yet. Hurricane Milton. And it effed some stuff up around here. It surely did. What sound does a witch say? What does a pirate say? What does a pirate say? Of course, you're getting stage fright. You won't perform for the people. That probably didn't. No, don't. You're gonna mess stuff up. Oh gosh, it's Medlem. Medlem? It's mayhem. It's bedlam. Yeah, I don't know. Say, what does a ghost say?
No.
No. Yeah, that's right. A ghost says no.
I want it.
What does a Harvey Weinstein victim say?
No.
What does a Diddy victim say? No. What does a Diddy victim say? Yeah, probably, because they're gagged. And all right, off you go. Well, let's get back to a more structured format. The little toddler G-Money, he is asleep now, and it is just you and I, mano a mano. Like I was saying, the last time we talked, I believe, was after Hurricane Helene, but before Hurricane Milton. Oh, a lot has been happening. I'm very, very tired. Very tired. You see, young G-Money, he decided that he will not sleep through the night any longer. Not since the first hurricane came through, Hurricane Helene. He wakes up in the middle of the night, almost like clockwork. At 12:30 a.m. every night, we hear the crying of a little toddler. And either me or K-Cup Slow Drip has to go into his room, and we're usually tired, half awake by then. So instead of just rocking him back to sleep, we end up just throwing him in the bed with us. And he falls back asleep again, but sometimes he likes to kick us in the middle of the night. So it's very, very tough going off of about 4 hours of sleep every night for the last month. Not to mention, I've still been getting over my sickness. I don't know. It just ended like last week. Coughing up all sorts of funny colors. The colors of the rainbow. It's like Lucky Charm, phlegm, hearts, stars, and horseshoes, clovers and blue moons, pots of golden rainbows, and the red balloon coming out of my throat and into my mouth and spit into the sink most of the time. Sometimes you gotta swallow it down. Gulp. Anywho, so yes, that's been fun to deal with. Little update, a pupdate update on Wilbur. As you guys know, he had the giant spleen. And he had to get the splenectomy. His supposed 1.5 pound spleen had grown to the size of 6.6 pounds. So we had the vet remove it. And as they removed it, they sent all his stuff out to specialists to see if he had the big C word or any other kind of illnesses. And we had our follow-up with the doc. And after some tense anticipation in the waiting room, waiting for the doctor to come in, she opened the door and, like a professional, said, "I only have good news." We were like, yippee. So no big C. He is as healthy as a horse. And he's been acting like a puppy again. So we were very happy about that. Money well spent. Unfortunately, he's also reverted back to his chewing on stuff. Like my father-in-law, he likes to give us all this like really old stuff, like really cool old stuff. Like for instance, one year he gave me a ceremonial African spear from like BC times or something like that, and all sorts of really cool old stuff. Well, he gave us this pretty old wooden Chinese bucket. It's like a big square with a handle on it. It's pretty cool. And old Wilbur here, while we were out and about, probably getting dinner, I don't remember, started chewing on it like a damn woodchuck, chucking wood. Just a little on the side of it. So now our pretty well preserved old ass bucket from China has turned into a chew toy for him. So we had to move it into another room, and that's not the only thing. He's been chewing on other stuff too. So misbehaving. Oh, he's feeling good again though. Feeling good. Got a pep in his step, so that's what's good. Oh, so other than that, we had to prep for the hurricane, the second one, Hurricane Milton, that came through. Put up storm shutters all around the house. One day, spent an entire day trying to get a generator started back at the office. Couldn't get it going. There was a clog in the fuel line. I didn't have time to unclog it, so no generator. And as the hurricane approached us and got closer, and it looked like it was going to hit us maybe at a Cat 5, and we said, okay, we're going to go beat feet and go to the in-laws' house because they're a little more inland and highly elevated, and we were a little bit worried about storm surge and not having power. And we rode out the storm. And at one point, middle of the night, sounded like bowling balls rolling atop their roof. They have a 2-story house. And we're like, what the heck? So we all went downstairs and all hung out downstairs together. I was afraid a big-ass oak tree was going to fall through the roof or something, but it didn't. Come to find out, it had blown the siding off the side of the house, and then it tumbled across the top of the roof, and that's what that sound was. Lucky for them and everyone else, that's the only damage that they had. Yeah, we got some scratches on the back of the Jeep, but that's okay. No big deal. They'll buff out. But we had no power at our house, so we could not return. We didn't have power for 4 days. So 4 days at the in-laws' house, which was actually not so bad. We had nice dinner every night, had a few drinks, had some martinis, and the in-laws watched the kid for a little bit, so we didn't have to watch him 24/7. That was kind of nice. But eventually, power came back. We returned home. There was a lot of damage around the area, though, especially up there. Even though it wasn't a direct hit, where they live, it's the land of oak trees. So there was a lot of downed oak trees everywhere, landed on people's cars and through roofs and all sorts of crazy stuff. And we drove back to our house, and on the way home, we had to take alternate routes because trees were blocking roads. None of the traffic lights worked. And let me tell you something, people are idiots when traffic lights don't work. Let me give you guys a public service announcement. When a traffic light has no power and it's like flashing or just nothing's happening at all, it now becomes a 4-way stop. People don't realize that. They just blow right through it. So I saw traffic lights dangling in the middle of the street. I mean, it was crazy. I tell you one thing this thing showed me. If the shit ever really hits the fan, like if we become Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, no power, no gas, none of that stuff, most people are completely fucked because the craziness and the panic that I saw when gas stations had lines like hours and hours long, people driving like crazy people. It's like just panic sets in and nobody knows how to behave. That's why my next home, once we sell this home, because this is not my forever home. Once I get my forever home, few things going on that checklist. Generator, hurricane-proof windows. And when I say generator, let me go back to that. When I say generator, I mean generator with giant propane tanks. I can power my house for like a few weeks if I needed to. Probably going to go with like a filtered, well water system. Perhaps I'll go do some off the grid electrical stuff, some battery powered solar panels, so I don't have to depend on anything. Just be completely set up in my own oasis. So anyway, because of all of that, lack of sleep, still getting over being sick, hurricanes, I just have not had time to do a podcast, I have not had the energy. I don't want to give you people a substandard product. I want to make sure that it is pristine. So now that I've found a day where I felt fully rested, at least enough, I figured it was time to reach back out to you people. What do you mean by you people? Black people. No, I'm kidding. The people who listen to my show. That's right, you. Oh, all right. Well, I think that's enough about the happenings and the going-ons with Wizayne the Pizain and his family. Well, one more thing, I guess. I am so sick of football. And I say that and I watch it. I still watch it every week. But all of my football teams suck. So I think I'm going to take up golf. I might get Dr. Bose, give him a call, see if he wants to go golfing. I know he's a big golfer. I played one round my entire life, and I ended up losing all the balls in my bag because I was so bad. But I've been watching a lot of TikTok videos on how to make your swing good, and I feel good about it now. So I'm going to go to the driving range. I'm going to hit a few balls and see how that goes. And if that goes well, then I think I'm ready to go play a round of golf. Sounds like fun. Fuck football. Wizayne the Pizain's taking up golf. All right, let me take a sip of water here for the next segment. I gotta stay hydrated. All right. Well, you know what that means. On to the news. And before we go off on, maybe the 1440 news feed. 1440 news feed. Pew, pew, pew. 1440. There's been a lot of stuff. I'm just going to have a me and you talkie about all the stuff I've seen in the news. Mostly about the presidential election, Trump and Kamala Harris. Let's start off first with the Trump and Joe Rogan interview. That was a pretty big deal. Trump went on Joe Rogan. They talked for 3 hours. I think you got a good... You didn't have Trump doing his typical combativeness. He just had a conversation with Joe Rogan, who's very good at that. He's a very good... No matter what you think of Joe Rogan, like him, love him, or hate him, or whatever, he is a great interviewer. He knows how to ask questions and how to get the most out of the person he's talking to, which is, if you listen to the 3 hours, which I did, it's a pretty good interview. He gets through a lot of stuff. A lot of it is typical stuff you've already heard from Trump. If you've heard him talk a lot, then there's not much new stuff there. But yeah, it was a good listen. I think that all it can do is help his campaign. And then the other thing is Kamala said she was going to do it, and now she's kind of backed out. They said that to Joe Rogan, you can interview her, but you have to do it at our location, and it's only going to be an hour long. And he said, no, thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. If you guys want to do it, you can come to me in Austin, Texas, and we'll just go for as long as, we want to go. I find it kind of refreshing that Trump will do 3 hours, and he would have done longer too, but he had a speaking engagement in, I think, Chicago. Maybe it was just somewhere else in Illinois. I don't remember, but he had a speaking engagement somewhere else. And that's the only reason they stopped. They were going to keep going and going and going. Kamala's like, nope. It's got to be structured. It's got to be 1 hour, and it has to be, has to be on our terms. It just doesn't look good for her. And honestly, I don't think she would do well in a 3 hour interview with Joe Rogan. Just like the two of them talking. I don't know. I don't think she has that natural just ability to be charismatic in a normal interview without talking points. That brings me to Trump's giant rally at Madison Square Garden. He had a who's who of speakers. He had, his typical guys, Vivek Ramaswamy and J.D. Vance. You had RFK, Tulsi Gabbard. You had some other people like Elon Musk, Hulk Hogan, the return of Tucker Carlson on Fox News. That must have been pretty awkward for them because they fired him. And now he is the most successful podcast in the world. Him and Joe Rogan, 1 and 2. And you had one of my favorites, Tony Hinchcliffe from Kill Tony. And he has made quite the waves in the media, especially the liberal media circuit. He's gotten tweets from AOC and all sorts of Democrats saying how disgusting of a person he is. He had a few choice jokes. Have you ever seen Tony Hinchcliffe? I guess his biggest claim to fame right now, other than his podcast, is he did the Tom Brady roast, and he literally murdered when he did that. He got, oh my God, it was like some of the funniest stuff I've ever heard in my life. But a lot of his jokes are pretty racist. And if you're not taking them as just straight humor, then you can be pretty easily offended by them. Me, I find funny stuff funny. I don't care. So I find it kind of funny. But the one thing, he said a few jokes about a few different groups of people, but the one that really pissing people off is he said that there is a giant floating island of garbage out in the ocean. Some people call it Puerto Rico. That's not sitting too well with people right now. Some of it, I think, is a little bit of fake outrage. Some people might be actually pissed off. But I don't know. You know what you're getting with the guy. Some people say it's an inappropriate place to do it. You know, it's at a rally and not at, a comedy venue. The guy's a roast comic. He's going to roast everything. That's just what he does. I don't see a big deal about it, but hey, whatever. That's why people have different opinions, I guess. And I don't know. Honestly, the whole thing just looked like a victory lap for the Republicans. It was in the bluest of blue states, sold out Madison Square Garden. I don't think any other Republican could do that. And it just looked like they were having a lot of fun there. And then you got the other side that's basically calling everybody Nazis, which is what Kamala Harris is doing, calling Trump a Nazi. And I'm still seeing campaign videos about Project 2025 and Trump's Project 2025 agenda, which is just a blatant lie. He has disowned that whole thing. He has his own agenda. You can literally go on his website and see it. And I think the most alarming thing I saw, when I say alarming, I just mean that I'm pretty sure the Democrats have kind of rolled over and given up at this point. The most alarming thing I've seen is MSNBC rolling a special talking about Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden. And back in the 30s, there was the American Nazi Party who had a rally at Madison Square Garden where a Jewish man rushed the stage and was beaten half to death. Well, there's a few different things to unpack there. Well, first off, yeah, it doesn't matter how abhorrent your beliefs are. We live in a country where people are free to express those abhorrent beliefs. And if you rush a stage anywhere, you're probably going to get beat down. Now, did they probably get a few extra licks in because the guy was Jewish? Maybe. I don't know. But honestly, that's beside the point. Why is MSNBC airing a special talking about how a Trump rally, basically calling a Trump rally a Nazi rally? Very desperate sounding. And honestly, it's got to the point now where the word Nazi and racist have lost all meaning, which is kind of sad because you have the actual racists out there. And I refuse to believe that there's this large swath of Nazis out there ready to take over America. So we'll just leave it at racist. And nobody's going to believe you because, you've called everybody racist for the last 8-9 years. Well, I can tell you personally, I'm kind of excited for a Trump presidency for a few different reasons. One, I trust him more with the economy than I do Kamala Harris. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. You can look at any poll and he kills her in that respect. Economy and border, he dominates her in those categories. And I believe him when he says that he's going to try to reduce income tax and use tariffs as a way to get money for the country. He's even talked about getting rid of income tax, which would be great because that's taxation is theft, in my opinion. I doubt he's going to be able to do any of that, but hey, the talk is good. And then I mentioned it before, him even saying making the U.S. the cryptocurrency capital of the world. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have one bit of legislation about it. As long as he keeps talking about it, the markets will go up, and that's very good for Wizayne the Pizain. I think he's going to get the interest rates down for homes, which, again, personal. And this is how people should vote. Their personal interest. Personally, interest rates go down. I can sell this house that I live in now that I don't really like all that much. It's a nice home. It really is. But I'm looking for something more acreage, privacy, all that shit I talked about earlier. I can sell this home, get a new home with a low interest rate. Do you see how the blocks kind of would fall in place for a Trump presidency? Whereas if a Kamala presidency comes in, it seems to me, and it might just be optics, but it seems like she's going to tax the fuck out of everybody. Because that's what it will do, is taxing and then helping the less fortunate, I guess. I believe more in a charity aspect and not a force me to pay you so others can, do better aspect. But hey, that's just me. I don't trust her as far as I can throw her. She lies. Her vice president lies a lot. He's been caught doing a bunch of different lies, whether it was him being in Tiananmen Square, him serving in a war zone, him being a head coach when he was an assistant coach. It's just all these little lies have added up over the months that we've gotten to know Tim Walz. And don't even get me started on some of the conspiracy theories out there about, let's just say, him taking a young boy to an Indigo Girls concert. That, I'm not going to tell you the whole story on that, because that's at this point is a conspiracy theory, and it is just rumor. No point in spreading that, but if you're interested, look up Tim Walz Indigo Girls and you'll find out what I'm talking about. And back to Kamala, the whole I worked at McDonald's thing, yet nobody can prove that she worked at McDonald's. I thought the whole Trump PR stunt with McDonald's was pretty funny. And that's just some of the things about Trump that I don't think some people get. He's kind of a comedian. He says a lot of funny shit. And people don't like that, I guess, He says outlandish shit, I don't know. It's like, I get it. I get it with him. And there's a bunch, trust me, and there's some stuff I don't like about him. There are. But what's the point of even going over that at this point? There's no way I'll be honest. I have voted already. I did a mail-in vote, and then I didn't vote for Kamala. Let's just put it at that, okay? Anywho, I would be shocked to see Trump lose at this point. I really would. And I think it would be dangerous if he lost, because all of the momentum is on his side right now. I can't imagine her winning. I really can't. Betting odds have her losing. Even polls have her losing now. And polls always skew in favor of Trump, even when he's down. Like he's always going to perform better than the polls, is what I should say. And he's even winning in some of them. Early voting shows he's still, of course, losing, but not by very much, which is bad news for Democrats, because early voting and mail-in voting usually skew towards them heavily, and then day of is when Republicans, have a surge. Well, he's already there, so it's not looking good for her. If she wins, I seriously doubt Trump could say not one word. I would seriously doubt that any of his supporters would believe that it was a legitimate election. And I think things will be a whole lot worse than what they consider January 6th, worse than 9/11 bullshit that they talk about. I mean, you want to see something worse? Watch Trump lose this election. I don't think it's going to happen at all, and I'm not even calling for anything. I'm just predicting it. I'm just saying if something bad happens, it's going to be a big deal. Like real Civil War kind of shit. But I don't think it's going to come to that. I honestly think Trump's going to win, and that's that. It's going to be better for me. I know that much. So, anywho, I think that's enough about that. Let's go move on to the news on 1440 Newsfeed. Tuesday, October 29th. Infinite money lawsuit. JP Morgan Chase has begun suing people who took advantage of the summer's so-called infinite money glitch that enabled them to withdraw thousands of dollars from Chase ATMs. The bank filed suit in three federal courts in Texas, Florida, and California to try to recoup an untold amount of losses. In August, videos began circulating on TikTok of how to exploit the glitch. Generally, a person either wrote and deposited a fake paper check, or one person deposited a fake paper check while an accomplice withdrew the funds before JP Morgan had time to bounce the check. JP Morgan fixed the vulnerability, but yesterday's lawsuit began to showcase the scheme's impact. In one case, a man from Houston is accused of stealing $290,000 after an accomplice deposited a fake check for $335,000. Honestly, normally I wouldn't give a damn about that because fuck bankers, fuck banks. You know, they'll allow people to scam you and, you know, take money out of your account. That's happened to me before, where I did not authorize anything. Nobody had my account numbers, and they let a large sum of money out of the account, and then they don't do anything to try to recoup it for you. You have to go through legal crap. Still battling that one. Normally, I would say, fuck the banks. This is kind of like fraud, though. This is like, you know, writing a bounce check. All that shit's illegal. Like, you know, that's illegal. I hope nothing happens to the people, though. Yeah, it's a crime, and it probably won't, but, you know, whatever. Fuck the banks. That's what I have to say. Tree species at risk. More than 1/3 of the world's tree species are at risk of going extinct, according to a new global analysis released yesterday. The assessment, published during the United Nations COP16 Biodiversity Summit in Cali, Colombia, found at least 16,425 tree species are at risk from a total of 7,282, 80% of documented tree species examined worldwide. 192 countries are at risk, tree species. The highest proportion of threatened trees found on islands and in South America due to invasive species, as well as the warming climate and deforestation of urban development. I mean, that's bad. That really is. You don't want trees to go extinct, but at the same time, I would have to look more into this study. It's a biodiversity summit for the United Nations. I hear UN, and automatically my spidey senses go off because I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. Fucking UN. I don't even need them anymore. Anyway, but if even an inkling of that's true, that's bad. I mean, we don't want trees to go extinct. Feds sweep New York City jail. An operation involving multiple federal agents was initiated yesterday at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where high-profile inmates Sean Diddy Combs and Sam Bankman-Fried are currently held amid rising concerns over the facility's conditions. Prison officials said the initiative was pre-planned and there is no active threat. MDC is the only operating federal prison in New York City after federal authorities closed the Metropolitan Correctional Center in 2021, where sex offender Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide. Yeah, suicide, quotation marks. The MDC has been under recent scrutiny due to a series of violent incidents, multiple deaths, contraband, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I guess they're making this jail more I don't know. That's a dumb story. I don't really care about that. Jon Stewart extends deal to continue hosting Monday edition of The Daily Show through December 2025. Jon Stewart's a funny one. I mean, meaning he is funny. But he tries to act like he's unbiased, maybe just a little, left-leaning, but he's pretty far left-leaning. He like kind of tricks you by like doing a both, like when Trump and Biden were going at it. He would do just as many Biden jokes as Trump jokes, but as soon as Biden was out and Kamala was in, he was on top of that like white on rice. He was talking about how great she was and how happy he was that Biden was and blah, blah, blah. And she's terrible. He wouldn't say anything bad about her. Still just said, I mean, you can tell he hates Trump, which is fine. I understand some people do. But I mean, as long as he keeps the funny up, I don't really care. I'll check him out. I'll laugh at the funny stuff, but he's kind of had his day in the sun. I'm kind of over Jon Stewart. Apple debuts its Apple Intelligence feature for iPhone, iPad, and Mac, marks the company's first public foray into AI products. I mentioned this a few months back, I think, about them doing their own AI under their own banner, and how smart that was. I think they worked with ChatGPT, but we'll see how it goes with them. Biologists decode genetic adaptations that allow critical endangered cat balangers to drink salt water. A trait gives increased ability to metabolize calcium and sodium. Cool. I guess. Yeah, they can drink salt water. Cool. I don't know. Maybe I make it so we can all drink salt water one day, and then we won't have a water shortage. And just filter out the salt. Poop out the salt. Salt poops. Engineers demonstrate prototype device using recycled polystyrene, a common packing material that generates enough static electricity from air motion to lower air conditioning power demand by 5%. Cool. So it's like looks like it's like a insulation kind of thing. We got the U.S. stock markets close higher as investors await earning reports from the 5 of the Magnificent 7 tech stocks: Alphabet, which is Google, Apple, I said fucking Apple, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta. Boeing launches $19 billion stock sale by issuing 90 million new shares, $5 billion in, yeah, whatever. Fuck you, Boeing. Volkswagen reportedly plans to shut down 3 facilities in Germany, lay off thousands, and cut salaries by 10%. See ya, Volkswagen. Nuclear startup Pacific Fusion Corp raises over $900 million in funding. Startup seeks to commercialize fusion technology for energy. Pacific Fusion Corp. Got to remember that one. Let's see if I can get that in my portfolio. Suspect vehicle identified in connection with devices that set fire to ballot drop boxes in Oregon and Washington state. Not that that really matters. They're going to go blue, So what's the point? What's the point of that, Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner sues to halt political action committee led by Elon Musk for awarding $1 million daily giveaways to voter registration in swing states. Okay. Man sentenced to life for 2022 killing of Memphis teacher and 34-year-old mother Eliza Fletcher, an heir to a multi-billion-dollar hardware company who was abducted while jogging. I remember that. Life? He should have been put to death. Death penalty. Firing squad. Pew pew. Pentagon confirms North Korea has sent roughly 10,000 troops to aid Russia in its war against Ukraine. Oh no. Well, that's not good for Ukraine. That's another country getting involved. Ooh. Well, that's a slippery slope. Hopefully, Trumpy boy can get in there and maybe broker some peace before that gets worse. I think that's all we got. And we got the etc., which is clickbaity stuff. America's top 100 vegan restaurants. Pfft. No, thank you. How the Electoral College works? Well, read a fucking book, moron. Rare 1975 dime fetches $506,000 at auction. That's a little bit ridiculous. That's somebody with way too much money to buy money. Ranking every NBA stadium based on price of beer. That's kind of interesting. Let's see here. All right. So it goes by most expensive to least. So most is Boston Celtics. $20.32 for a 16-ounce beer. Oh my. And the next cheapest is the Denver Nuggets at $17.32. That's a $3 difference between 1 and 2. That's ridiculous. $20 beer. Another reason to hate Boston. Fuck those guys with their speech impediment. I go get a beer at the bar and drive my car. Wicked pisser. Anyway, let's jump to the cheapest. The Oklahoma City Thunder, $6.84. That is a good deal. So if I'm ever in Oklahoma, I could get drunk at a Thunder game. Atlanta Hawks isn't too bad either, $7.56, but you won't catch me dead in Atlanta. Fuck that city. Never been on the inside, but driving around the outside sucks a donkey dick. Oh, okay. Fans are upset at NBA star Dwayne Wade's statue. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's like terrible. It's like so bad. It kind of reminds me of what's that guy's name? The good soccer player. Anyway, they made a bronze bust of him. The guy over in Spain. They made a bronze bust of him, and it was terrible, and they had to redo it. It reminds me of that, the Dwayne Wade statue. It's really bad. Jimmy John's debuts the Pickle Witch, which I've seen photos of. Instead of using bread, they take a giant pickle, and they cut it in half, and they put all the stuff on the inside. So you're eating a Pickle Witch. It's the most freaking grossest looking thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why anybody would even order that. It's gross. Well, that's the end of that. And that brings me to a day in history. Sir Walter Raleigh is executed in 1618. Joy of painting host Bob Ross was born in 1942. Everyone loves Bob Ross with his happy little trees and his happy little mountains and happy little accidents. Everybody loves Bob Ross. If you don't like Bob Ross, something's wrong with you. Go get help. Go get psychiatric help because he is an American treasure. Actress Winona Ryder, born in 1971. Actress Gabrielle Union, born in 1972. Or maybe Gabrielle. Probably Gabrielle, since it's a woman. Astronaut John Glenn becomes the oldest NASA astronaut in space at age 77 in 1998. And we have a quote from old Bob Ross. Don't forget to tell these special people in your life just how special they are to you. Well, on a personal note, I tell my little son, G Money, and my wife, K Cup Slow Drip, every day how special they are to me and how they make my life just a little more enjoyable. And I'd also like to tell each and every one of you how special you are for finding this podcast and listening to it whenever we air. And I know lately we've been on a little bit of a hiatus due to unforeseen circumstances, but we're going to try our best to give you some weekly programming from me, Wizayne the Pizain, Javi Bose, and Brooksy Boy, whether it's the big show, whether it's Pizain's podcast, or maybe one day Brooksy Boy's sports show. And on that, once again, I would just like to say how special you are to me by listening to me with your ears and continuing to follow, download, subscribing to our podcast, finding us on YouTube, and not forgetting to hit that subscribe button like you would hit a red button in the middle of a room that don't know what it would do. It's a big red button. You gotta hit it. Finding us on social media, X, TikTok, and Instagram. Don't forget about Facebook. And, well, I guess that's it. Until next time, yippee-yo. Let's go. See ya.